Let's start off by coming to our origin planes. And we're going to select our front plane here, the XY plane. We're going to create a sketch on this plane. And then we're going to come to center diameter circle, and we're going to create 2 center diameter circles. I'm going to come to the sketch dimension, and I'm going to set a dimension here for 18, and the other one for 18 as well. And then I'm going to come to horizontal. I'm going to click on both center points and the origin. Now we have our 2 circles. They're lined up horizontally with the origin. The next thing we want to do is create a line between them. That's construction. And from here, I'm going to come to midpoint, click on the line, click on the origin, and that's going to attach them centered on the origin. From here, what we want to do is set another dimension between the 2 centers of the circles, and I'm going to make this 19. And I'm also going to create a couple more lines here. I'm going to create one on the left side that comes out, comes down at an angle, and comes across all the way. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing here. And I'm going to attach it lined up on that point. And from here, what we want to do is we're going to come to our axis here. And I'm going to project this, click the P button on the keyboard and hit OK. And now we have an axis we can work off of. I'm going to come to sketch dimension off of this, make it 1 degree. Same thing on the other side, 1 degree, draft. And now we have drafted walls. Let's set a dimension here between this point and this point. And this dimension is going to be 18. So I'm going to click on our original 18 dimension. Then do *2 to multiply it by 2. And then we're going to put this in parentheses actually. And from here, what we want to do is we want to add a millimeter. And then we want to add another 2 millimeters. So you're going to have an equation that looks something like this. It's going to be D1 times 2 in parentheses plus 1 plus 2. And you can see that now we have that equation. It came out to be 39. And what I can do to make sure that these are balanced, as you can see, they're not balanced right now, these 2 sketches. What I can do is just come to equal, click on this one, click on this one. And that's going to make them equal to each other. It looks like we had something that wasn't constrained. So I'm just going to make the center point and this point horizontal. Now let's try that again. This is going to be equal to this. And now they're equal to each other. And again, if you don't have something constrained perfectly, it happens. All right, so now we have a lot of our sketches is in black now, which means it's fully defined, but there are some parts that are not fully defined. We're going to set a dimension here from the origin to this line. And I want this to be, let's see what 10 millimeters looks like. All right, it looks a little bit close, so let's try 11. That looks a little bit better. We're going to finish our sketch. And now here's what our sketch looks like. We need to add one more line here. Just between the 2 circles. Let's just finish that up, close this, okay. Now we're just going to finish our sketch. And from here, all we need to do is come to extrude, click on our sketch here that we want to extrude. Direction is symmetric, as you could see here. And it's going to be whole length. And I want this to be 65 millimeters. And I'm going to hit OK. And so from here, here's the shape that we have. As you can see, the walls already have this wall and this wall. They both have the draft. Now we don't have a draft on this face nor this face, and that's something that we want to add. So we can come to modify, draft. We can select a plane to start off of, and then we can select a face. And now we can do that draft manually. So I can choose what I want this to be. I'm going to make this -1 degrees because that's what we did on the other two walls. And I'm going to choose to make this camera orthographic because I want to do the same thing here on the other side. I'm going to come to modify, draft, this plane, this face, 1 degree coming in, and we're going to hit OK. Now that we have that set up, we're going to click on this face, bottom face, and we're going to come to shell. We're going to shell this, and I'm going to make this 1.5 millimeters shelled inside. And now you can see that our part is hollowed out. That's what the shell command does. But we do want to add some fillets here. So I'm going to come to fillet, and I'm going to click on some of these lines here. And there's definitely a lot that we want to fillet in terms of lines. For those that are against 3D mice, this is a reason why it's so great to have one. All right. So there we go. And as you can see, there's no dimension here on these yet. So I'm going to type 1. You're going to see that bumped up. So we like what we see, but let's see if we can get away with 2 without the feature failing. That looks a little bit better, but it's kind of messing up our wall here. We really can't have that. So I'm going to dial it back to 1 and maybe even less. And we really just want to have fillets for better material flow. I'm going to hit OK. And now, what do I want to do? I want to make some holes. Pour this out. We don't need this whole face here. I'm going to click on the XZ plane. That's this top plane, start a sketch. And on this top plane, we're going to come to create, rectangle, center rectangle. Drag out a rectangle here and drag out a rectangle here. And what we want to do is we want to set this equal to each other. So what we can really do now that I think about it is, let me delete this one on the right because we can copy the Z axis so we can project that. And now with it projected, I can work on this one. I can set some dimensions on it. I can make this 40 millimeters and I can make this one, say 8 millimeters. I can make this horizontal with this origin. And with that set up the way it is, once it's fully constrained, once I set a dimension here of, let's say, 9, what I can do is I can extrude cut. And after I create my extrude cut, I'm going to create a couple fillets here. And we're just going to drag this in. So we're going to have something that looks kind of like that, I suppose. And from here, what I can do is just mirror this. So before I was going to mirror the sketch, but we can really just go ahead and mirror the feature. And the fillet and the mirror plane is going to be the YZ plane. We're just going to hit OK, and it's going to mirror that for us. So there we go. We have our casing with our shell. And so we have just a little bit more to go here. What we want to do is delete our 2 drafts because we want to add a wall to the side here on this side. So I'm going to start a new face on this side. I'm going to do that by creating a sketch on this face. And all I'm going to do is just connect this with a line. And with it completely connected, or actually it would be smarter to just connect the entire thing. So I'm just going to start from this edge, come to this edge, and now I can just project these extra ones, these extra lines. And hit OK. And now all you have to do is just extrude the whole thing. And we're going to make this, we can just make this 1 millimeter. If we want to be fancy, we can come back to our shell, and we can see that this parameter is D14. So I'm going to make this parameter D14, and that's going to make it the same thickness as our shell, which is the way you should do it for consistency. So that's what we have. And it looks like the wall is actually not going in the right direction because we don't want to add too much material here because it's thick. So we're gonna throw this on the other side. We want to come this way, 1.5. And that's the same on the other side. Same thing as before. And let's extrude. Except like we learned from before, we want to extrude in. That's a join feature, and it's going to be D14. So we could do negative D14, and that's a join operation. Now, as you can tell, we lost 2 millimeters from this operation. So what we can do is come back to our original extrusion, and we're going to make this 67 millimeters instead of 65. So now we're back where we want to be. I can click on this line, come to inspect, and it's going to show me that this is 64. So it's an 18650 battery, so we're still missing 1 millimeter. So if I make the 68, will that fix the problem? Let's see. If I click on this again, inspect, yeah, now it's a 65. Okay, so we now have our closed ends here. But we still need to take it a step further because we need to add metal contacts on the ends. Back to our sidewalls. I'm going to come to Modify, Draft, and I'm going to select this face for the plane. And then I'm going to select this face here. And I'm going to make this -1 degrees. And I want to do the same thing here on the other side. So same parameters. And make it -1. And now that we have our drafts created, we can come to our XY plane. And I'm going to start a sketch on this plane. And what I want to do, if I turn on my visual style to be wireframe, is I want to create 2 rectangles. So 2 center rectangles. And I'm going to set some sketch dimensions here. This is going to be 8 millimeters, and this one is also going to be 8 millimeters. And I'm going to make this horizontal. And now I can set a dimension between the origin and here. I can make this about 9 millimeters. Or better yet, we can just project our arc. So I can project this inner arc and this one here. And now we can just make a vertical constraint between the middle of the rectangle and this point. the center of the arc. And one of the last things to do is to just make these 2 points horizontal with each other. That way they can move with each other. And we're almost done here. We're going to finish our sketch. But before that, we just want to add one more feature here. I'm going to add a circle here. And I want to make this 1 millimeter, a 1 millimeter circle, which comes down from the center. So your sketch should look something like this. And we can line these up horizontally. And so now we're going to come to solid, extrude, and I'm going to select both of these rectangles as well as the circle. And this is going to be symmetric, and it's going to be a cut operation. I'm going to drag this all the way through the part. And that's going to create a cut through the part. Now I'm going to go visual style, shaded with visible edges. So you can see what we've created here. And these are going to be our cutouts for the contacts. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a plane. And this plane is going to be basically a mid-plane. I'm going to select this face, and that's automatically going to create a mid-plane between them. Now I'm going to click on here, create a sketch, and I'm going to create a simple sketch. It's going to look something like this. And this is going to be our contact, our metal terminal contact. You can always drag this around as necessary. You can even choose to project this point to be more exact. Make these horizontal. And I can also project this line. That way I can make this line and this line parallel. And so there we have it. And as you may have guessed, the next thing that we want to do, once we kind of fix this up the way we want, and we can always move this later. The next thing that we want to do is we want to come and finish our sketch. Then we're going to come to sheet metal, and we're going to come to sheet metal rules. And under sheet metal rules, we have our thickness at 0.4 millimeters. You can always change this setting by coming over here to edit rule. And we're going to come to flange. I'm going to click on the flange that I've created. And what I can do is make the direction symmetric. And I can just drag this to wherever I want. I'm going to drag it to about here. And now you can see from the side profile that this is what we want. We want to have a piece of metal that looks like this coming in both directions. So I'm going to turn off my analysis, my cut analysis I made. And now you could see that we've created this metal contact. One last thing I'm going to do, start a sketch on the back face. And I'm going to project the circle I made. So I can click on this circle, click P, hit OK. Now the circle's projected. Come to solid, extrude, click on it, drag it in, make it a cut operation. The object is going to be this object right here, and that's going to cut it. There we go. So now we have our contact with a hole in it. We could put a screw through here to attach our metal contact to our plastic part. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come to create mirror. I'm going to click on my metal contact, click on mirror plane, click on this halfway plane, and hit OK. And one thing you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that you select all the features you want. So I'm going to see if I could do the body instead. And that's going to mirror the body instead of just the features. And I want to do the same thing here to the other side. So I'm going to mirror this. I'm going to mirror these bodies here. The mirror plane is going to be this plane now. And now, as you can see, we have our 4 holes in the part, and we also have our metal contacts attached. So that's really all we need for our battery holder. The only last thing we really want is to have our screw that goes through the plastic into the part. The next order of business is to add the screws to our assembly. I'm going to do this by coming to Joint, Capture Position, and I'm going to select Revolute. I'm going to snap to this ring right here, and I'm going to attach it into this hole. And with it inside, I'm just going to hit OK, and you can do that for all 4 of these. I just brought in my battery into my assembly. I'm going to first rotate it, and I'm going to rotate it to 90 degrees. I'm going to hit OK. And now I can drop this into my assembly. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to come to Joint, Capture Position, and what I want to do here is make a revolute constraint between this bottom circle edge and this inner ring. And so to do that, I'm going to come to Position, and I want to select this circle right here. And now it's going to ask me for this ring, so I'm going to choose the ring. And for those worrying, the screw is underneath our clip, so that screw head is not going to touch anything, in case you're worrying about that. So that's what we have, and we want to do the same thing to the other side, so I can just copy and just paste. And I can even move this from here. So I have my second battery. I could even just drag this to the other side and just make it, negative 19. And there we go. We have our 2 batteries in series. Because they're both facing the same way. Now this is a very basic example here. In real life, you may need to change these dimensions a little bit to better suit the battery, but I just hope that this serves as a basics tutorial to show you how to create this battery holder on your own. Thank you.